All right, so the lead story is Donald Trump giving his first speech since he left the White House. 1 hour, 33 minutes. Whoa, whoa. All right. And this is in front of the CPAC group, the conservative group in Orlando, Florida, as you know. The network and CNN, MSNBC, none of them took the speech. The Fox News did. I think the other two conservative channels did as well. Not sure. I watched it. It wasn't easy to sit through it all, but I did for you. But I also watched it for history. This is unprecedented. And you know I'm a historian. It's unprecedented. A president who leaves the White House has never before in the history of our republic slammed an incoming president in that short period of time. Never before happened. But as you know, Donald Trump doesn't really give a fig about tradition in that regard. And he set up camp down in Florida, as says he's going to be back. That was the first soundbite that caught my eye. Roll the tape.
But who knows? Who knows? I may even decide to beat them for a third time, okay?
Them being the Democrats. And Mr. Trump will play that string out because he knows that a lot of people would like him to run again, and a lot of people would not. So he's going to use that as, an attention getter. So the first soundbite I want to play is about illegal immigration. Go.
Illegal immigrants are now being apprehended and released along the entire southern border, just the opposite of what it was 2 months ago. They weren't coming because they couldn't get in. Once they think they can get in, they're coming, and they are coming at levels that you haven't even seen yet. By the hundreds of thousands, by the millions, they'll be coming.
Don't know if it'll be millions, but there will be a big problem at the southern border by summer. There's no question about it, in my opinion. And that doesn't help anybody, does it? Doesn't help the migrants because they're going to suffer. They're going to pay money to the criminal smugglers to try to get them in. A trek across Mexico is going to be hot. People are going to die. The Border Patrol will be overwhelmed. We're wrapping up COVID, but that's going to spread COVID. It's just, and the President Biden, he doesn't seem to be too engaged on this, does he? I mean, I don't agree with Biden's policies. I think he's a far left figurehead, but you'd like to see some involvement on this, wouldn't you? Doesn't seem he is. Second soundbite is keeping the kids out of school because of COVID. Go.
There's no reason whatsoever why the vast majority of young Americans should not be back in school immediately. The only reason that most parents do not have that choice is because Joe Biden sold out America's children to the teachers' unions.
Okay, so my kids go to Catholic school. They've been back in class in September. There has not been any trouble. Public schools in New York City, and I'm 20 miles away, they can't go back. So why can't they go back? Because the teachers' unions say it's too dangerous for the teachers themselves. You can debate it, but if the Catholic schools in New York City are operating without a problem, that's a pretty strong argument, is it not? Not just Catholic private schools. So the teachers' unions donate hundreds of millions of dollars to the Democratic Party. Joe Biden ever say a bad word about teachers' unions ever in his entire life? No, not one. Okay, fourth soundbite. This is something that I signaled to you very, very early on. Go.
Under the radical Democrat policies, the price of gasoline has already surged 30% since the election and will go to $5, $6, $7, and even higher. So enjoy that when you go to the pump, and they'll say, that'll be about $200 to fill up your van.
It's true. And the reason is that the fossil fuel companies know they're going to be attacked by the Biden administration, and they're building up their war chest. They're charging as much as they can to get a lot of cash reserve on hand, because they know they're going to have to transition into so-called alternative energy. That takes money to do that. So who's going to get it? The consumer always gets it. So by summer, all right, I expect where I live, it started about $2.10 a gallon. In December, right before Christmas, $2.10 a gallon where I live. Okay, now it's about $2.80 a gallon. By summer, it'll be $3.50 a gallon, and then maybe even higher. That's a tax on us, all right? Because the Biden administration had to know that was going to happen, had to. As soon as they cut the XL pipeline, they knew the fossil fuel industry was going to go, we're going to get all the money we can now. So that's what's going on there. Next soundbite is the social problems we have in the USA. Go.
We believe in patriotic education and strongly oppose the radical indoctrination of America's youth. It's horrible. We are committed to defending innocent life and to upholding the Judeo-Christian values of our founders and of our founding. We embrace free thought, we stand up to political correctness, and we reject left-wing lunacy, and in particular, we reject cancel culture.
That was Mr. Trump's strongest soundbite right there, all right? Because that is the most important issue right now in this country. It's overcome COVID, overcome the economy. Our freedom of expression is under assault. You all know it. I don't have to convince you. And once the people lose the right to speak, to think, to gather, whatever it may be, then we don't have America anymore. It's gone. We ought to rename the country. And I'm sure that'll be proposed soon by the left-wing loons. Let's rename it, okay? And the Republican Party's got to stand up strongly against that. So that was why that was the most effective soundbite that Donald Trump had yesterday. Here is the weakest soundbite. Go.
You know, we have a little problem adjusting in Detroit. We seem to have more votes than we have people, a lot more votes. An election-changing number. We're not talking about a number where you can't. No, these are election-changing numbers. In Pennsylvania, they had hundreds of thousands of more votes than they had people voting. What's that all about? What's that all about? Cheating, they say. Yeah, I'd say so.
It's not true. And we reported this in November. We investigated this very thoroughly. Okay, so the stats that are on the record, and this comes from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Now, if they're lying, if the state is lying, it'll be uncovered. But there have been audits done, and these are the stats. So there are 9 million registered voters in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. A little under 7 million voted in the presidential election. So 2 million didn't show up. So when Donald Trump says there were more people voting than registered, that is not true according to the record. Now, I know there are going to be people watching me right now go, oh, they're cheating or that, but you can't say that unless you have something to back it up. And I don't know why Donald Trump continues down this road, because there is enough to make a case that Pennsylvania didn't obey its own constitution in the election. That's true. That's true. It did not obey its own constitution in how the ballots were cast. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania did away with its own constitution without a vote. Nobody voted on it. And the judges ruled that they weren't going to intervene there because there was enough time for the Republican and the Democratic Party to raise flags about it because this was done a year before the vote, that they discarded their own constitution because of COVID. That's why they said they did it, because there are a lot of people who couldn't get to the polls. They're afraid to go to the polls. So now we're going to have a completely different way to vote. But nobody challenged it. That was the rationale on the part of the courts. Okay. But I would advise Donald Trump, don't throw stats out that you can't back up. That just diminishes your point of view. You made some good points. I think the points that he made, the sound bites that I played to you, were good points, strong points. But then you give the opposition ammo to call you a liar, whatever, whatever they do. Well, here's what they do. Here's CNN. Go.
This CPAC with Donald Trump closing it out is a liar palooza. Donald Trump opened up a fire hose of falsehoods on this crowd. He's still doing it right now. And this crowd is bathing in his dishonesty.
Now, that's just a ridiculous man. That's a man who 10 years ago couldn't have been in a position of prominence on any network or in any news organization. He's just a hater. He hates Donald Trump. So you don't put a hater on television. I know they do, and they put him on the radio. I know it. But if you're a responsible corporation, is AT&T that owns CNN a responsible corporation? I'm not sure. Disney a responsible corporation? Tough to make that argument. If you watch The View, tough to make it. But I just thought I would play that because it's never going to stop. And even if Donald Trump didn't misstate things like he did with Pennsylvania, even if he didn't do that, they'd still call him a liar, no matter what he said.